Scott, I suppose you lock in your side. Have you got any insight for us on who's coming in?
No, not locked in yet. We got through training. Everyone trained really well. We're just in discussions there quickly. We only got off the track 20 minutes ago out here at Essendon, so we'll head back to the hotel within an hour and get back in match committee there and go through the team to play Saturday. But I can report Slaney's good. He didn't do much training, did enough running. Murphy he joined in a little bit early, did a lot of strides up and down the side, so we'll probably wait till nearly the death knock with him, maybe Saturday morning, to see if he can come up or not. Riley got out there and trained, which was good as well. So there's a few decisions to be made over the next hour or two anyway. So we're still not trying to hide anything. We're still up in the air a little bit at the moment with picking the final 22.
What are you sweating on? Is it someone injured or just the balance?
No, just the balance. Yeah. No, we're really happy with how everyone's got through. But yeah, there's a bit of balance there. At the moment, we think it's going to be pretty wet and windy up there as well, so that might have some implications to the team that we do pick. Is
Filthy sore still or injured, or is he fine?
No, he's fine. No, he was flying last week. He was going really well. We just wanted to train him in a few different areas and certainly rest him up as well. But he's been terrific for his limited pre-season that he did do prior to the start of round one or his first AFL game. So really happy that he got the 12 games in. Look, we certainly want to get a few more games out of him by the end of the year. But he's really freshened up and he's looking quite sharp, which is what we want. Do you give Tariq
Newchurch any consideration for this one?
Probably not at this stage, but Tariq played really well last week. We had a 16-a-side game with Richmond and Geelong, and yeah, he's moving quite well. But you know, he's around the mark, Tariq, but he's also a long-term proposition as well. So we certainly don't want to rush him in to a game of AFL football when he might not be quite ready for it.
Yeah, easy. Thanks, mate. I'll let someone else have a go.
Channel 10, you there?
G'day, mate. How you going? You just alluded to the wet and windy conditions. Does that mean you might be in favour of bringing in a smaller player instead of one of your tools?
Yeah, maybe, but our tools are actually quite good at ground level as well. So, like I said, those discussions, like I said, I'm not trying to hide anything from you, but we're just in brief discussions post-training now. We'll head back and pick the team that we think will give us our best chance to win the game. And at the same time, too, we've got to be mindful of what the conditions will present, because it's not going to be like a Marvel game where it's closed in and it's quite dry. It looks legitimately like it's going to be pretty wet and slippery throughout, pretty windy. So it's going to be not a marking game. It'll be contest to contest, and we'll need a bit of speed, but we'll certainly need some strength over the ball. And sometimes those bigger fellas can be pretty important at the contest down the line, but certainly to support robbing the ruck as well.
Nick Murray, does he sort of get a look in back this week?
Yeah, he will do. That's another decision we'll make. I was really happy with Billy last week in the back line. Murray was coming along very nicely before he got knocked out the week before. So they're decisions that will go in at match committee and decide which way we want to go. But there's quite a few at the moment. There's probably 2 or 3 decisions that are legitimately flip the coin.
I might hand it over to Randy. I'm sure he's online now.
Yeah, sorry about that, guys. Hopefully you got me now, Scotty. I guess just further to the forward line, obviously wet and windy this week, but a bit like Port with their tours. Can you play the 4 tours? I know Fogarty, Himmelberg, Walker all played really well last week. Can Phil Thorpe fit in there long term and you can play those 4 potentially?
Yeah, well, teams have done it. They've played 3 tours and nearly 2 rucks, if you want to look at it that way. It's just a matter of making sure we rotate enough that... we ideally you wouldn't want 4 of those tools out there at the same time, especially in those conditions. But you can certainly rotate through the ruck. We could easily put a tool that's always on the bench and have those 3 tools up there to stretch them a little bit in the air. But like I said, we certainly want to have a look at what the best team for us will be up there to win the game. And at the moment, we're certainly in the preliminary stages of picking that team. But it's a good position to be in. There's some players that played some really good football last week in that scratch match we had. We know we've got Riley and Murray coming back into the team. So we want to make sure that the 22 that we take into this game are ready, they're fit, they're fresh to go. And if training's anything to go on today, we're really pleased with the effort and intensity that everyone brought.
I guess just a two-part question, Scotty. You're obviously someone that's been in the system for a while now. I think you said a couple of weeks ago it probably doesn't fit you at the moment, but has Collingwood approached your management by any chance? And I guess second to that, is being a senior coach something you harbour desires for?
Yeah, look, fair enough asking the question, but I'm not really interested in going into too much detail with anything away from here at the moment. Like I've said earlier, I don't want to leave Adelaide. I'm really happy here. I think we're on the right path. It's going to take time. Now, whether that's 12 months, 18 months, 24 months, I don't know. But as you've seen this year, we've turned it around pretty quickly. Well, the last 6 weeks previous year was quite solid as well. But there's a lot of hope and there's a lot of belief that we're on the right journey, and the coaches, not only the players, want to be on that same bus all the way through. So that's where I'm at. Really happy here, and no, I won't be moving from Adelaide.
Right, no worries. Thank you.
Anyone else want to jump in there? We're all good.
Hang on.
I'll go again if we
Yeah,
can
go,
keep.
Joe.
Sorry, mate. Scott, when you look at, I suppose, the conditions and the Bulldogs' strength around the contest, they heavily score inside 50. They convert from good numbers as well. What are some of the things that you'll tell your guys just to sort of carry on from the Hawks win? A few non-negotiables that you'd like to see repeat against the top team?
Oh, I mean, it's been a work in progress, I guess, over the last all year. But certainly, we're disappointed a few weeks back at that Essendon game on that Friday night where we didn't give our best, and we've gone away and worked on a few things, how we want to move the ball. But certainly defensively, we're working on things all the time defensively to get better, not only individually but with our team defence. And there's one thing that you do know against the Doggies, and especially if it is a wet and slippery game, it's going to be about contest as much as anything. You're going to have to get your job done in a 1v1. We need the support at times. And look, some of these games, if there's a 30k win going from one end to the other, sometimes the structures and those sort of things can be completely thrown out the window. It's going to be a different game, one that we haven't played too much this year in terms of weather and wind, but it's one of the ones that the boys are pretty excited about as well. It's a great challenge because we rate the Doggies very, very highly. Good team, got a lot of great youth, hard at it, got speed where they need it. If you're going to win a contest, 1v1 contest to get the Doggies, you're going to have to earn it. And it's going to be a great challenge for some of our younger players, and the senior players are loving the fact too that they won't have anything on their terms as well.
Does it reduce the difference between the two teams? I mean, you'd say if it was played indoors in perfect conditions, 9 times out of 10, the better team should win. But if it's a scrap, does it even things up for you?
I'm not sure. Usually, I mean, you've got a team like the Bulldogs that are terrific over the ball. They're terrific in contest. They're terrific with their hands. One of the best tackling teams in the competition, and they're the hardest team to tackle. So that suggests that weather probably does suit them. What I do know is good teams, doesn't matter if it's dry or wet, they play good footy. They can adapt to either. We're a developing team at this point in time. There's no doubt lighter and younger bodies can be pushed off the ball maybe a little bit easier. Having said that, though, we've got some younger players that are pretty ruthless when it comes to their attack on the ball, and they won't die wondering. They might give away 1 or 2 kilos, but they'll be putting their head over it and trying as hard as they possibly can.
Thanks, mate.
Scotty, what's going to happen with the boys that don't get a game this week? Will they have some sort of scratch match or simulation sort of situation? No,
not at this stage. The VFL's gone ahead over here. So I think it was only Geelong that we had the opportunity, but they were down on a few players as well. So that's what I was lucky last week. We got the hit out in, and the boys did really well. We went back there and played, half for Richmond and half to Geelong. So I was fortunate that they did get a good hit out. But this week they'll have a miss.
What does that mean for Matty Crouch? Looks like he might be unlikely to get back into your side, but will he take part in some sort of exercise away from the game? Yeah, I mean, all of them will. There'll be some that will lighten off deliberately that might need a bit of a breather, but there'll be some like Crouchy and that will need to increase their workload, and we've got that opportunity to do that Saturday, Friday or Saturday, to really increase that and get a good training session where they're doing some 1v1 stuff, some good lengthening stride conditioning. So for someone like a Crouchy, he'd probably have a pretty good hit out and get 10 plus Ks in a training session over the weekend at some stage. Thanks, mate.
Scott, do you mind if I just ask one more about the borders, mate? Looks like the AFL's confirmed you're coming home on Sunday. Is that a bit of relief for you?
Yeah, well, I haven't heard anything just until I got here, Theo. So yeah, look, it's one of those ones that you don't get too involved in, too caught up with it, because something can change in 12 hours. We've seen that getting over here. We were coming, then not going, then coming. We had 2 weeks earlier. We had to come for a couple of days and then head back. So it's one of those ones where you go, geez, that's nice. It'd be great to get back, see the family, and obviously play games in front of our supporters at Adelaide Oval. But until we're actually on the plane, until we land in Adelaide, I won't take anything for granted.
Yeah, fair enough.